Knife?
Enough.
Can everyone see?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, I want you all to remember, this stuff is to be treated with respect. Respect, yes? Very good. On the other hand, if you know what you're doing... No, it's all right. It's not delicate. You can knock it around as much as you like. Play football with it if you feel like it.
They will not be playing football with it, Hannay.
Probably just as well. It costs the earth. But it's not fragile. Not until you couple it with one of these. Fuse.
Fuse.
Thank you. I think 2 inches will do it. And we only need a tiny portion of this. You can mold it quite easily. You see? Warm it between your hands, like this. And then the fuse goes in about 1/2 inch. And now all we need is a match. Anyone? Come on, where's your sense of adventure? Jonas, can you oblige?
Right. Here.
Well, go on, man.
Right.
Beautifully done. Now, you'll need to know exactly how long these fuses take to burn right down. I want you to experiment with different lengths. You understand? Well, come on, do you understand? Excellent. Well, that just about wraps up this little demonstration.
Hannay.
What? Oh, right, yes. Gentlemen, watch and remember. It's the latest thing. It's called lentonite. And a tiny fragment of it can do this!
I wish you wouldn't do things like that.
10 times more effective than a lecture, Jonas. I'll bet you a drink there won't be a single accident once they're working with the stuff.
I still wish you were going to be here to supervise.
And cramp your style? No, I need a change. Besides, 30-odd years is too long not to see the old country.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the trip.
Enjoy it? Oh, man. I plan to have the time of my life.
You, sir!
What the devil?
Queen Anne's Gate.
Get your hands off me!
For the love of God, Queen Anne's Gate. Where is it?
Police!
No! Miss! It's life and death. Queen Anne's Gate.
It's that way. Third right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hold that man!
Oh, dear God!
Don't let him get away!
Go ahead! Let go of me, you damned idiot!
Oh, no, you don't!
That's it. Well, hell.
What's he done, sir?
Done. He kidnapped me, stole my car. Don't you know who this is?
Jopley, shut your mouth.
It's Richard Hannay, the Portland Place murderer.
Help!
Please!
Will you shut up?
Oh,
Get him!
Go on! Keep away from me! Keep away! I've got a gun! That's better. If anyone tries to follow me, I'll kill them!
come on. Yes, sir.
Sir Walter, I must see him.
I hardly think that appropriate.
What?
Go round to the kitchen. There may be some scrap.
For God's sake, man. Tell him it's about the 39 steps.
Of course. Come inside, sir. Sir Walter is expecting you.
The 39 Steps by John Buchan. Dramatised in 2 parts by Bert Cools. Episode 1. London, the 13th of June, 1914.
Come in, sir. Come in.
Sir Walter.
Sit down, man. Sit down.
Thank you.
I take it your name is Twisdon.
No.
Huh?
Yes, it is.
It's a wise conspirator who remembers his own name.
Look, the police.
Jenkins will deal with all that.
I have the most amazing story to tell you. It's vital you believe me. Vital.
All in good time.
What?
You've been on the run, what, 3 weeks?
Yes.
I dare say another hour won't make too much difference.
It could. Constantine Karolides.
What about him?
Is he here yet? Is he in the country?
He arrives tomorrow.
Oh, then I'm in time. Thank God. Thank God.
Well, if that's out of the way, I think you could do with a bath, a shave, and some decent clothes, and Jenkins will organize something for your leg.
My leg? Oh, sorry.
Don't be. The carpet will clean up easily enough. Suppose we meet for dinner in, say, 3/4 of an hour.
Dinner would be good.
I thought it might be. And then you can tell me your tale. And don't worry. In this house, you're perfectly safe.
Safe. Thank you. Thank you.
Ah. Nothing like a spot of Wagner to aid the digestion.
Not my taste, I'm afraid.
Oh? Not to worry. Now, you sort yourself out one of those. And I'll see to the brandies. Then you can tell me your story.
I hardly know where to begin.
Please, wait till we've got our drinks.
Very well. But at least let me thank you.
No thanks are necessary. I've merely done what my godson asked me to do. Look out for a man called Twisden, with news of the 39 steps, and treat him kindly. Here.
Kindly hardly covers it. Your very good health.
And yours. Now, Mr. Hannay.
You know my real name?
Of course, and a good deal else besides. So, Mr. Richard Hannay, according to my godson, you can tell me a tale to really wake me up. I hope he wasn't exaggerating. Here.
Thanks. Well, you must judge for yourself. But no, I don't think he was. I must ask you another question before I start.
Then please do so.
By God, that's good. Right. Do you know what the 39 steps are?
No, I've no idea.
Damn. I was really hoping. Well, no matter. Perhaps between us we can work it out. Well, I'm a mining engineer. I live and work in South Africa.
Though you were born in Scotland, January the 8th, 1877, your father was also an engineer. You and he emigrated to Bulawayo following the death of your mother when you were 6 years old.
Good God.
You fought in the Boer War, served for a time as an intelligence officer at Delagoa Bay. You are unmarried and have no living relatives.
Very impressive.
Thank you. And my apologies. I don't often get the chance to show off the efficiency of my department. Now, your story, Mr. Hannay.
Yes, right. Right. Well, I suppose it really begins 3 weeks ago. I'd made a decent enough pile back home, and I thought I'd have some time off and enjoy life. It didn't quite work out the way I planned.
So I gathered.
No, that's not what I mean. This was before all that. I'm talking about the fact that England bored me out of my mind. I thought England was going to be like the Arabian Nights, full of every sort of diversion you could imagine. The truth was, I was fed up with it inside a week. The weather made me liverish, the talk of the ordinary Englishman made me sick, and I couldn't get enough exercise. The amusements of London seemed to me about as flat as soda water that's been standing in the sun. You know that feeling of isolation when everyone around you is having a ball and you're not? Well, by God, I had it that night. I'd had my fill of theatres and race meetings and restaurants and sightseeing, and I suppose I thought an old-fashioned music hall might be different. I was wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, with your kind attention and permission, I have the honour to present one of the most remarkable men in the world. Every day he commits to memory 50 new facts and remembers every one of them. Facts from history, from geography, from newspapers, from scientific books. Test him, please, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Memory! I ought to add that Mr. Memory has left his brain to the British Museum.
Hooray.
I question, please.
Who was the last British heavyweight champion of the world?
Bob Fitzsimmons. He defeated Jim Corbett, heavyweight champion of America at Carson City, Nevada, in October 1897. He was then 34 years of age. Am I right, sir?
Quite right.
Another question, please.
How long's the derby?
1 mile, 4 furlongs and 10 yards. Increased from 1 mile in 1784. Am I right, sir?
You're right.
Another question, please. Now, come along, ladies and gentlemen. Surely someone has a question.
Why am I so bored with London?
When a man is tired of London, sir, he is tired of life. Dr. Samuel Johnson, 1709 to 1784. Am I right, sir?
I hope not.
Now, a serious question, please.
Hey, where's my old man been since last Friday?
I'd taken a flat in a new block near Portland Place. I was as bored with it as I was with everything else. But the thought of staying any longer at that ghastly music hall was even less appetizing. So I went back home. It was normally a quiet sort of area, but it wasn't that night.
I'm sorry, sir, you can't go in there.
What the devil do you mean? I live here.
It's just for the minute, sir, while they bring down the body.
Someone died?
Suicide, sir, gent on the top floor.
Good Lord.
Did you know the deceased, Mr...
Hannay? No, I wouldn't say I knew him. We said hello on the stairs, that sort of thing. Captain something or other.
Digby.
That's it.
Yes, Captain Theophilus Digby, 40th Gurkhas, presently home on leave. And you are Mr... Hannay.
Do they always call in the police when someone tops himself? Surely you've better things to do.
A crime's a crime, sir. Oh, speak of the devil. Stand back now, ladies and gentlemen, please. There's nothing to see.
He was wrong. There was plenty to see. Oh, the 2 ambulance men carrying the stretcher were ordinary enough, and so was the body covered with its sheet. What wasn't ordinary was the thick red stain still soaking through the cotton. It covered an area about the size of a football, exactly where the dead man's face used to be.
Oh!
Dear God.
Yes, full in the face from both barrels. I ask you, what drives a soul to do that, eh? All clear, Charlie?
All clear, sir.
Right, you can go in now, sir. Sir?
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. Wonder why he did it.
No way of telling, sir, till we found the note.
Note?
Oh, there's always a note, sir. Then we'll know. Unhappy in love, lost his fortune, dishonoured the family name. Well, we get all sorts. Just plain bored, some of them.
I think I decided there and then to clear out and get back to the veldt. Or somewhere in Europe, maybe. Berlin, or Vienna, perhaps. And these things seem to be happening over there, if you could believe what you read in the papers. I would have done it too, but for what I saw when I went into my flat. Good God! You're looking remarkably healthy. For a dead man.
Close the door. Close it. Now lock it.
Would you mind awfully telling me what all this is about?
In a minute. I want you to look down into the street. See if there's anyone still loitering.
I think they've all gone in. Show's over and all that.
All of them? Make sure. Careful! For the love of heaven!
You know, the last few times we spoke, I could have sworn you had an English accent.
Huh. Morning, old man. Frightful weather again.
So it is you, then. I was beginning to wonder about identical twins.
It's me, Franklin P. Scudder, at your service. Well?
Deserted. Now, about that explanation.
Okay. Look, I'm sorry about this. It's a mighty liberty, but you look like the sort of man who would understand.
So you decided to burgle my flat?
I'm no burglar. Will you hear me out?
Yes, I'll listen to you. But that's all, I'll promise.
That's all I ask. Look, could I have a drink? Dying kind of takes it out of a guy.
So I see. Help yourself.
Thank you.
Now, why don't you just take a seat and relax?
Relax? You think I'm mad? Well, I'm not. Not yet. Okay, I'll sit down for you.
That's better.
Now, I've been watching you. I reckon you're a cool customer. An honest man, too, if I'm any judge. I'm going to confide in you.
I'm flattered.
This is serious, damn it. I need help worse than any man ever needed it. And I want to know if I can count you in.
I'll get on with your yarn and I'll tell you.
Right. First off, what do you do for a living?
I'm an engineer. What about you? On the stage, are you?
What do you know about international politics?
Next to nothing.
Damn. No, never mind. It might not matter.
Well, that's a relief.
I said this is serious.
Then get on with it, man.
Right, yes, okay. Suppose I ask you this. Just who's running things, do you think?
What do you mean?
Just what I said. Who's running the show? In Europe, say.
Well, the politicians, of course.
Now that is just where you're wrong, my friend.
Who do you say, then? The military? The armies?
Listen to me, Hannay. This could be the most important thing you ever hear in your whole life. You want to know who's running the whole shooting match? Well, I'll tell you. It's the Jews.
And after that, I couldn't shut him up. He spouted off a whole barrage of nonsense about high finance and about capital having no conscience and no fatherland. According to Scudder, it was the Jews who were behind every German business you'd ever heard of. Then he got started on anarchists and secret societies and how they were all planning to set Europe by the ears and make a fortune buying up the wreckage. I tell you, you've never heard anything like it.
Actually, yes, I have. I've sat through that recital more than once.
You've met Scudder?
Several times. If you could cut through the prejudices, he'd a shrewd head on his shoulders. What did you think of his story?
I thought he was stark raving mad.
And then, sir, I got the first hint of it. The first faint stirrings of their plans.
What plans? Whose plans?
I was staying at an inn in the Tyrol. It was just a chance remark, just something I wasn't supposed to hear, but it set me inquiring. Oh, yes. I collected my other clues in a fur shop in Buda, in a strangers' club in Vienna, and a little bookshop off the Racknisstrasse in Leipzig. I found the final piece of evidence 10 days ago in Paris. Then I had to disappear. So Captain Digby was born.
But what is it you discovered? What is this terrible secret?
You still don't believe me. You think I'm off my head.
I said I'd listen, and that's what I'm doing. But I want the whole story, not just bits and pieces.
Oh, they'll not succeed. Oh, no, not while I'm allowed to stop them. Not while Franklin P. Scudder knows the wheels of their whole business. The 15th of June. That's when it all happens.
When all what happens? You're not making any sense, man.
I can't tell you.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
It's too dangerous. Take another look in the street, will you?
I think it's time you were leaving.
No. Throw me out now, they'll get me for sure. You've got to trust me.
You break in here, you give me this cock and bull story, and then you clamp your jaws. Why the devil should I believe a word of it? Now, are you going, or do I throw you out?
All right. All right. I'll tell you this much.
That's better.
Have you ever heard of the Black Stone?
No, I haven't. What is it?
It's a secret organization of Prussian spies.
Oh, come on. The Black Stone. It's like something out of a penny dreadful.
This is true, I swear it. And believe me, you don't want to run into them. And Hannay, they're here right now in England.
Do you know their names?
They change their names like you change your shirts, their faces too. They could be anyone, anywhere. Remember that, my friend. Anyone could be the enemy.
And what are they going to do, these people?
Well, you read the papers, I take it.
Of course.
Then you'll know about Constantine Karolidis.
The Greek chap.
He's their prime minister.
Well, what about him?
I've told you how unstable things are in Europe. Well, he's about the only man holding things together, the one big brain in the whole show. He's going to be in London, June 15th. And the Blackstone are going to kill him.
Karolidis is going to be killed?
That's what he said.
He had proof?
So he claimed.
Did you believe him?
I told you, I thought he was raving.
Did you tell him so?
Not in so many words. I said he should tell the authorities, have the visit put off.
What did he say to that?
Oh, haven't you been listening to me, man? The Blackstone are the best there is. They'll just kill Karolidis in his own country, and who'll know where or when. I want to catch them slap-bang red-handed. It does make a kind of sense.
So that was Scudder's big secret?
Oh, no. That wasn't it at all.
That's just part of it. And not the biggest part. Oh, no, not by a long way. And I'm not going to tell you the rest, so don't try asking.
You're asking me to take an awful lot on faith.
I know. Look, maybe this'll help.
Hold it. Keep your hands where I can see them.
Take it easy. It's just a notebook. May I?
Go on.
Thanks. It's all in here. Everything I've found out. And there's more. I haven't had a chance to get it all down yet. I need time to sort it all and get it written. That's why I had to die.
Yes, what was all that about? Who was that they found up in your rooms?
Oh, it's easy enough to get a body in London. I dressed him up in my clothes and shot off his face. Simple.
Drastic kind of way to get some time to yourself.
I haven't told you the rest yet. Last night, I discovered they were on to me.
The Blackstone?
Yes. There are 3 top men. One's their killer, one's an intelligence man, and the other...
What about him?
He's their leader. And he is the last man you ever want to meet on God's earth. I like to think I'm a brave sort of chap, but I tell you. Listen, if you ever run into a man with eyes like a hawk's, you get away from him as fast as your feet'll carry you.
What do you mean, eyes like a hawk's?
Believe me, you'll know him if you see him. You will remember. Say, you will remember.
Yes. Yes, I shall. And these men, they're on to you.
They followed me here to London. They watched this building all last night.
You're seriously telling me that you found this corpse, got it up to your flat, and did all the rest of it, with them watching you?
They're not the only ones with tricks up their sleeves. Well, sir, do you believe me? Will you trust me?
I'll trust you for the night.
Sir, you're a white man. Let me shake you by the hand.
I locked Scudder into the spare bedroom for the night. Told him if he wasn't on the level, he should know I was handy with a gun. And then I went to bed. To tell you the truth...
Yes?
To tell you the truth, I felt more cheerful than I had for months. It seemed that things did happen occasionally, even in this godforsaken metropolis. Stand up, please. Thanks.
News standard!
Oh, here we are.
News standard!
Right.
Who's there? I'm armed.
It's me. You want to hear about your inquest?
You went to it?
Couldn't resist.
Damn. I wish I could have gone.
Oh, it was as dull as ditch water.
Even so.
I wrote you your obituary. Will that do? Page 7.
Thanks.
It seems Captain Digby had an undistinguished sort of a career.
Well, what do you expect? The Victoria Cross? That sort of thing can be checked too easily. Oh, this is good. They would have been at the inquest.
The Blackstone?
You remember what I told you?
Dark, lean sort of chap. Stout youngster and your mysterious hawk-eyed man.
That's it. Well, were they there?
Not that I noticed.
They were there, trust me. They can look like anybody. What was the verdict?
You did away with yourself while the balance of your mind was disturbed.
Good. Nothing about all this?
Your little black book full of secrets, not a word. Oh, and before you ask, there's no one lurking about outside the building. Your skin's safe.
I don't give a damn about my life.
What do you mean?
All I care about is stopping what's going to happen.
And that's more important than your life?
Yes. Look, I'm going to let you in a bit deeper into this business.
Go on.
I'm going to tell you a name.
Another secret agent?
No, but she's the key to the whole thing.
What do you mean?
Never mind the details. Just remember the name, okay?
All right.
Julia Cecchini.
Julia Cecchini?
Here. Julia Cecchini. I want you to remember the spelling. You got it?
Yes.
Good.
Never heard of it, I'm afraid.
No, you wouldn't have. But as it turned out, Scudder was right. Julia Cecchini was the key to the whole affair. I'll come to that in a bit. Where did you meet Scudder? Was it professionally?
He's done several jobs for the department. If he hadn't been so keen on playing a lone hand, I'd have recruited him, but that sort's no use in the Secret Service. And he was too damn romantic. Wanted everything to be like some cheap melodrama. The Blackstone, indeed.
I know what you mean. Anyway, there he was, with his secrets and his little book. He was with me 4 days, all told. He spent most of the time scribbling away.
Did you ever see what he was writing?
I'll leave that for a bit, too, if you don't mind. When he wasn't writing, we played chess. He always beat me hollow. And we talked.
Do you ever think about death, Hannay?
Try not to. Most of the time.
But sometimes? Do you get those moments where for no reason at all you're suddenly wondering when it's going to happen? How? What it'll be like?
I suppose so. Not often, though. You?
Oh, yes. I reckon it's like going to sleep when you're pretty well tired out. And waking up to find a summer day with the scent of hay coming in through the window.
Sounds good.
Yeah, when I was back in the bluegrass country.
Kentucky, isn't it?
Yeah, finest place on the planet. And I know I've seen most of the rest of it. Yes, back then, I used to thank God for mornings like that. And I reckon I'll thank him again when I wake up on the other side of Jordan.
You surprise me. I had no idea Scudder had that sort of side to him.
No, he could change on a sixpence. Most of the time, he was nervy as hell.
What did you do while he was with you?
He insisted I come and go as usual. But I always had to keep a lookout for anyone watching the building. Thanks. There.
Good night, sir.
Right. Get a grip, Hannay. Get a damn grip. It's only me, no Blackstones to... Dear God. Dear God. My guest was lying sprawled on his back, a long knife through his heart. Even from where I was standing, I could see that he'd been skewered to the floor.
What did you do?
I sat down in an armchair and felt very sick. I've seen men die violently. Killed a few myself in the Matabele War.
Quite.
But this cold-blooded indoor business, well, it was different.
Yes.
I sat there for 10 minutes or so. Then I had a swig or two of brandy straight from the bottle. Then a thought hit me. All right. Come out slowly with your hands up. I've got a gun. Very well. There was no one there. Just as well. Gun or no gun, I doubt if I'd have stood much chance against someone who could drive a knife through a corpse like a poker through butter. Oh, God. That poor, staring white face was more than I could bear. I got a tablecloth and covered it up. And then I made the place as secure as I could. My wits were coming back to me, and I was starting to think straight again. One thing was as clear as day.
You were in danger.
Exactly. Scudder had been silenced because of what he knew. Whoever his enemies were, they must have reckoned there was a chance he'd confided in me. So, I'd be next.
Why didn't you simply go to the police?
And tell them what? They'd have laughed at me. Besides, the odds were 1,000 to 1 that I'd be charged with the murder. And there was something else.
What was that?
You're going to think this ridiculous.
I don't believe so.
Well, Scudder had taken me into his confidence. I felt pretty well bound to carry on his work. Look, I'm an ordinary sort of fellow. I'm not braver than other people or more clever, but I hate to see a good man downed. I reckoned I owed it to him. I could play the game in his place.
Well said, sir.
I decided that I had to disappear. These Blackstone people were after my blood, and the police were going to be right beside them. My plan, well, if you can call it a plan, was to get into hiding somewhere and emerge a few days before the 15th of June, when everything was set to happen.
And then what? If the police wouldn't have believed you before, why should they later?
Well, I didn't think about that. I just hoped something would happen to make them believe me. At that precise moment, I was more concerned about just getting away. It's a funny thing.
You rather relish the idea of the chase.
Yes. After being slack for so long, now my neck was hanging on my own wits. It was quite a cheering thought. I hunted out an old tweed suit, a pair of ancient walking boots and a flannel shirt with a collar. I stuffed a spare shirt, some handkerchiefs and a toothbrush into my pockets. I'd drawn out some gold from the bank in case Scudder needed money, and I put £50 in sovereigns in a money belt. That was all I wanted, and I reckoned I was all set. What I didn't know was how the devil I was going to get out of the building. I was pretty sure that Scudder's friends would be on the watch for me. Then I had an inspiration. I breakfasted off a whiskey and soda and some biscuits, put a pipe in my pocket, and filled my pouch from the tobacco jar by the fireplace. What the... Ah. It was Scudder's little black notebook. He must have known they were coming and hidden it there. A good omen, it seemed to me. I took a last look at his face. I was surprised to see how peaceful and dignified he looked. Goodbye, old chap. I'm going to do my best for you. Wish me well, wherever you are.
Morning! Blimey, Governor. Don't do that.
I want a word with you.
You got some complaint?
I reckon you're a bit of a sportsman, am I right?
What's your game?
I want you to do me a service. Lend me your cap and your coat.
You want to get me sacked?
Look, it's a bet. I've got to be a milkman for 10 minutes.
Funny sort of bet.
Yes, well, I haven't got time to explain. You can wait here and I'll be back before you know it. There's a sovereign in it for you.
Show me the money.
I counted at least 2 people watching the building. One was done up as a common loafer, the other was in a window across the street. They didn't give me a second glance. 7 o'clock. As soon as I was round the corner, I dumped the disguise and took to my heels. I had a train to catch.
Young man, you are in serious trouble.
I beg your pardon?
This is a first-class compartment.
I'd totally forgotten my ragged old suit and disreputable boots. I moved to 3rd class. I got out of Dumfries. I was planning to change to the slow train for Galloway.
Why Scotland? You hadn't been there since you were a boy.
Maybe, but I reckoned I could pass off well enough as an ordinary Scotsman if I had to. I mixed in with the other locals crowding onto the slow Galloway train, and away we pulled. We rumbled slowly into a land of little wooded glens, and then to a great wide moorland place, gleaming with lochs and distant high hills. The air was as clear as mid-ocean. By about 5 o'clock, the carriage had emptied, and I was left alone. It was the first real chance I'd had to look at Scudder's little notebook.
Well, what did it say?
See for yourself.
Thank you.
What do you make of it?
Typical Scudder. I don't recognize the code.
No, nor did I. It's mostly figures, but with the odd word written out in English. Mainly...
The 39 steps. Yes, I see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
9 times in all.
Have you had any luck with decoding it?
Yeah, I'll come to that. I have to tell this in order, or I'll miss something vital.
Of course. So, what exactly was your plan of action?
Actually, I didn't have one. I got off the train at some tiny station in the middle of nowhere, and I was quite content just to be there in that blessed countryside. The air was full of that queer, rooty smell, but it had the strangest effect on my spirits.
Hello!
I could have been a boy out for a holiday, instead of a man in danger of his life. I cut myself a hazel walking stick, and felt just as if I was starting off on a big trek on a frosty morning on the veldt. Every mile put me in better humour with myself.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Beautiful evening.
It is.
I'm, on a bit of a walking tour.
How do you know?
Uh-huh. I've come a weary way today.
And you'll be wanting an inn.
Is there one?
Oh, aye. Keep on this same path, and you'll come to an inn, all right.
Thank you.
But you'll not get there tonight. It's 10 miles if it's a step.
Oh, I don't think I can manage that.
No more do I.
Well, could you give me lodging for the night? And a bite to eat?
1 and 6. Tell you what, 2 shillings.
I don't want your money. You can stay and welcome.
This is very good. I'm grateful to you. You live a lonely life out here.
It's to my taste.
You won't get much in the way of news then.
News? What use have I for news?
Aye, I take your point.
What sort of news would you be thinking of?
Oh, nothing in particular. Just like to keep in touch with the world, you know.
Take a look outside before you go to your bed, man. That's the world. Not what you'll find in your newspapers.
You're sure you'll take nothing? For the food, at least.
I'm sure.
Then good morning to you. Good health and long life to you, friend.
Aye, and to you, friend.
My notion was to walk cross-country and return to the railway line a station or two further on. I reckoned I still had a good start on the police, but Scudder's body would have been found by now, and I had to keep moving. Can I have a kick at your paper?
No.
Thanks.
Oh, will you stop that racket, man?
Sorry. There it was. 2 columns on the murder. The Portland Place killing, they called it. I had quite a shock when I saw my own name there, but it was just a short note saying that I was the owner of the flat. Awful thing, this murder in London.
What? Oh, aye, yes, they say so.
Aye. But see, they've arrested the killer. Good God, the milkman.
He didn't do it.
What are you saying?
He didn't do it. Look at what do they call it? The stop press.
Oh, right. Oh, aye. The milkman has now been released. The true criminal is believed to have got away from London, travelling north. Travelling north.
Aye, that's what it says. Now, for the love of God, man, will you let me sleep?
Aye. Sorry. What's happening? I couldn't see any reason why we were stopping, but it suited me perfectly. I'd planned to wait for another deserted station. Now I didn't have to. I thanked my stars that my amiable travelling companion was in no state to notice that I'd suddenly disappeared. I stayed out of sight until the plume of smoke had all but vanished into the distance. There was nothing in the landscape. The sun glinted on the metal of the rails, the sky was clear, and you couldn't have found a more peaceful sight in the world. But for the first time, I felt the terror of the hunted. It wasn't the police I thought of, but the other folk. The men who knew that I had Scudder's secrets, and who dared not let me live. Nothing was moving in the whole countryside. I could see to the edge of the moor in the south, where green fields took the place of the heather, and to the east, where there were shallow valleys and fir plantations, and the faint lines of high roads. And all around me, nothing moved. And then I looked up. I was certain that aeroplane was looking for me, and that it didn't belong to the police. I began to think less well of the countryside I'd chosen as a refuge. Espionage from the air. This was something new, and I didn't like it. Once I was sure the plane had gone, I headed east, for the sanctuary of trees and roads and houses.
Out of the envelope, he took a half sheet of foolscap paper folded into 4. As you value your life or your reason, keep away from the moor.
I'll bear that in mind. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to startle you.
You didn't.
Is it a local moor?
Oh, good heavens, no, it's Dartmoor. A hound of the Baskervilles. Nothing dangerous ever happens here. I love the sound of good writing.
Do you often give public readings?
No. They're usually private ones, Mr.
Twisden. Johnny Twisden.
Good evening to you, Mr. Twisden. My name's McNaughton. Charlotte McNaughton.
Good evening.
Is this place an inn?
It is, sir.
Is your father the landlord?
He was. He passed away last November.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. He always planned to leave the inn to his son, but there was a slight complication.
Your brother wasn't interested?
I never had a brother.
Ah. So the inn's closed?
It is not. I do as good a job as any man could have managed. Better, maybe.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Is it a room you're wanting?
It is.
Then you'd best come inside, hadn't you?
You live here alone?
My mother died when I was a girl. I live here with my grandmother, but she's in her bed most of the time.
Ah. It must be a slow life for a young woman.
It is, yes. And to tell you the truth, it wasn't my choice of profession.
Oh?
But I know my duty, and I do it well. And there'll be time enough to do what I really want.
Which is?
I want to write books.
Ah. What sort?
Adventure. Intrigue. Romance.
I'll tell you what. Feed me some of that roast lamb I can smell. Rent me a room for a night or two. And I'll tell you a true story you can turn into a rip-snorter of a novel.
You surely didn't tell her the truth.
It was true in essentials. I just altered the minor details. I told her I was a mining magnate, and I'd exposed a gang of saboteurs. They'd chased me across the ocean, killed my best friend, and now they were after me. I made quite a job of it, even though I say it who shouldn't. The flight across the Kalahari, the attack on my life on the journey home, and the Portland Place murder. Well, it didn't need much to make that sound a pretty horrible affair.
It's pure Conan Doyle.
Yes, it is. These devils are after me, and the police are after them. It's a race I plan to win. You believe me, then?
Of course I do. I believe everything out of the common. The only thing to distrust is the normal. Are they close behind, do you think?
I think they're off my track, for the moment.
Good.
But I have to lie low.
You'll be safe here.
Thank you.
Stay as long as you need to. You will give me some more material about your adventures.
You can depend on it.
This room should serve you well.
Uh-huh.
There's a clear view right across the moor. If anyone follows you that way, you'll have good warning.
Close the curtain.
What?
Close it. And put out the candle.
What is it? What did you see?
Open the curtain again. Just a crack.
There's no one there.
Look up.
Up?
I saw it cross the moon. There should still be enough light. Yes, there, you see?
Oh, an aeroplane.
It's them. The saboteurs.
Well, they're a fair way away. They're going.
For now. I shouldn't stay here. I'm putting you in danger.
How are you? They've no quarrel with me, have they?
If they find out that you're hiding me...
They won't. You can depend on me now. That's quite enough of that.
You're sure?
Of course I'm sure.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
I didn't like bringing a woman into this business, but I'd known as soon as I'd seen her that she was right. I could depend on her. I felt safe there in that neat little room. I slept the sleep of the just.
Here. This is my father's old study. Mine now. Will it do for you?
Handsomely.
What can I do to help?
Just go about your business. Same as every day.
I'll do that. And don't worry. If your saboteurs turn up, I'll be ready for them.
Miss McNaughton, please don't take this affair too lightly. These are dangerous men.
I can look after myself, Mr. Twisden. It's something I've had to learn.
Now, friend Scudder. Just what the devil is it you were killed for?
Numerical cipher. Not a straightforward one, though. You say you cracked it?
Well, most of it. It's two-layered. The numbers stand for letters, but the letters themselves don't make any sense. Not without the key words for the final substitution.
How did you work out the key words?
Oh, I didn't have to. Scudder gave them to me.
Did he, by George? Now, let me think. Of course. The woman's name?
Julia Cekenyi. I wondered at the time why he was so desperate for me to memorize the spelling.
So, was it Julia for the vowels?
That's it. J equals A, U stands for E.
And the surname gives you the numbers for the consonants. Very ingenious. But what does it all say?
Well, according to Scudder, there's going to be a war. Us on one side allied with the French, and Germany on the other.
Mr. Hannay, that is arrant nonsense. Our relations with Germany may be a little strained, but there's no question of open hostilities, and if they do come, it won't be for years.
Yeah, well, Scudder says that the whole thing will come as one almighty surprise for Britain.
It's melodramatic rubbish.
I thought that too, but there's more. Stuff you can verify, if you will.
Go on.
Carolide's murder isn't the only thing that's set for the 15th.
What are you talking about?
I knew it. I knew it. Scudder was right. I'm talking about the meeting with the Frenchman. Scudder's not clear on who exactly he is, but he's obviously high up in their war ministry. Well?
Carry on.
It's a top-level, top-secret meeting. Every last detail of our Navy's battle strength is going to be handed over.
Scudder says that?
He says their general staff and ours have a secret agreement. Every now and then we exchange a complete list of ships, armaments, ports, positions, the whole picture. And the next time it happens is going to be June the 15th. Well, what do you say to Scudder's reliability now?
I say that somehow or other he stumbled onto a genuine piece of information. It doesn't mean to say that the rest can be relied on.
Well, Sir Walter, I only hope you're right.
Why? What else is in there?
Only the fact that the Black Stone plans to steal the naval information, and that it will be in Berlin by the following morning.
Rubbish! The security around that meeting is impenetrable. I'd stake my life on it.
If we really do go to war, and Berlin knows every detail of our defences, that's exactly what you will be staking.
You're right. It would be carnage. Does Scudder have the details? How exactly are the plans going to be stolen?
He doesn't say. I think they got to him before he could write it all down.
I simply can't believe it.
Now, perhaps what happened next will change your mind. By the time I'd decoded what I could of the notebook, well, you can imagine the state I was in. Oh, hello.
Quiet.
What is it?
There are 3 men downstairs looking for someone. They came in a motor car. They're in the dining room having whiskies and sodas.
What did they say?
They told me they'd arranged to meet a friend here.
Well, if they're genuine, it can't be me. No one knows I'm here.
Well, it could be nothing, but I thought I'd better tell you.
What did you say to them?
That there was a young man here last night, but he went off this morning on a motor bicycle. One of them swore like a navvy.
I'm sorry you had to hear that.
Now, that's just ridiculous and patronising.
Sorry. You say they're still there?
Yes. I can't stay up here much longer or they'll get suspicious.
Well, tell me what they look like.
One's dark, very lean and long. One's fat. The last one's older. He keeps smiling at me.
I have to get a look at them.
Of course you do. I put them at a table by the door. You can see it from the top of the stairs. I've left the door open just enough.
Miss McNaughton, you are a quite exceptional young woman.
Now you're being silly.
Oh, I don't think so. What about their voices? Any sort of accent at all?
No. They're as English as you are. I have to go back down.
Right. And thanks.
If it is them, you will be careful, won't you?
Of course I will.
It's such a pity we missed him. What time did he leave?
Oh, straight away after breakfast. 8:30, maybe?
8:30. Really is too bad of him. We should go. Come on, you fellas. Perhaps we can still catch him up, eh? Now, miss, what do we owe you for the drinks?
Charlotte was right about that voice. It was no more Prussian than she was. I relaxed. They were every stitch and every inch the English gentleman out on a tour.
Oh, a £5 note. You'll have to excuse me while I get you your change.
Of course, my dear. Jameson, get the car started.
Righty-ho.
Flanders, pull out the maps. See if you can't work out his route.
Right.
Now I was completely sure. If they were acting, why keep it up when there was no audience?
No, wait. I have an idea.
He glanced up at the landing. Half a second earlier, and he'd have seen me, but some instinct had made me draw back into the shadows. I watched from the darkness as he stared up towards the guest rooms. My ears tracking in the veldt had given me eyesight as good as any low-powered telescope, and I couldn't miss what happened next. It was the damnedest thing. His eyes suddenly hooded over and cleared again, just like a hawk's. Scudder had called them masters of disguise, and by God, he was right. The Black Stone had found me.
In The 39 Steps, Richard Hannay was played by David Robb, Sir Walter Bullivant by Tom Baker, Scudder by William Hope, Charlotte Tracey Wiles, Jopley Thomas Arnold, Johners and the Milkman Philip Joseph, Chairman Gordon Reed, Crofter Kenny Blythe, and the Hawk by Struan Roger. Other parts were played by members of the cast. The director was Bruce Young.